Let's get started, shall we? Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for taking the time to join me. What we're going to be looking at are unit-based learning and investigations. Some ideas for you as parents or carers to support you with supporting your children at home at the moment. Whether they're remote learning, sort of working from home, or they're in the classroom still and you want to sort of support them whilst they're at home. What we're going to hope to do today is just give you a couple of ideas and ways that you can do that. So we're going to look at where you can find the resources, which resources are best, and how do you know what to choose? So sort of answering those questions as we go along. Now, the account I'm going to be using to show you today is a made-up account, so don't worry about any of the data or information that you see is all completely made up. It is also an English account, so if you're joining me today from outside of England, please don't worry. Might be things that are slightly different, but I will point those out as we are going. And as always, I do love to hear from you if you've got any questions. So you'll see on your tab bar, there is a Q&A button. If you click onto that, you can type in a question to me. You can also type it in anonymously, and that will appear on my screen for me to answer. There is a chat box, but just be aware that I won't be able to see that sort of as we're going through. So I might not sort of get around to your question as quickly as I would with the Q&A. I think that's just about everything. So if we head to EducationCity.com, and here we are logged into Henry's account just here. And you'll see sort of this is what it will look like for your children if they're logged into their accounts at home. So to start off with, where can you find these resources? And there's a couple of ways you can find those. First way is over in this top right hand corner, you'll see there is a button called Search Content. If you click onto that, it will bring up this page. And this is really handy for searching for the titles of units that your child might be doing or your children might be doing. They might be writing stories, they might be looking at materials, they might be looking at something like measures, for example. So let's have a look for measurements. Maybe they're doing that in maths at the moment. And we can enter that and you can see these resources will appear. We can filter down this left-hand side as well. So if you're joining me from Scotland, this will say literacy and numeracy, but we can click onto maths or numeracy just there. You've got your year group or your P levels that will appear just here as well. So you can find your student's year group, year 2 or year 3, for example. Just select one of those. And as we're scrolling down here, you can see content type. And this leads me really nicely into which resources are best. The first one I want to show you is a Learn screen. So you can see just here where it says Learn screen, we can click onto that and we've got these Learn screens that appear. The best thing about Learn screens, they're kind of like videos. They enable your child to learn at their own pace. They can go over something maybe they've learned that day during a lesson. They can go over things in their own time. Maybe if it's just something they want to have a quick look at again, these are so invaluable for that. And you'll see really easily identifiable via that little icon just there, the little sort of play button just there. Now, if I open this one up as an example to you, you've got an objective there, so they know what objective they're working towards. They can always pause, they can have a bit of a look at something, they can move on to the next slide, as well as fast forwarding, rewinding, and again, pausing again. A lot of the Learn screens, as you're working through, will have a coloured line underneath some of the frames or the slides. If you click onto that one, what you'll find is it will ask a question. So as this information comes up, the question will relate to that piece of information.
Select the correct symbol that
so here we go.
The sentence.
Select the correct symbol that completes the sentence. 1 meter, this is where the symbol will go. Is it equal to, more than or less than 100 centimetres. If they click on an incorrect answer, it doesn't matter.
1 metre is
because
the
they can
same
have
as 100
another go
centimetres.
In some cases, or it will just give them that correct answer and they can go again. If they find they're struggling with the learning, they can always go back as well. That's why these learn screens are absolutely brilliant. And if you're looking for sort of that unit-based learning, this is a great way to find those tools. Because what you can then do is take that off and maybe instead have a look for a Think It. Now, Think It, you can see just here why this little thought bubble does a different thing to the learn screens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over here into the subjects area. And that's the same on the home page. You've got the subjects area just here. It's just at this left-hand panel. You can get there a little bit quicker. There we go. We're going to head into science this time. Again, you can head into sort of your year group or your key stage or your P level, whatever it is just there. And you will see learn screens just there. And these are your Think It's, this little thought bubble. The science Think It's are absolutely fantastic for investigation and inquiry. And you've actually got one of the sort of key things that students need to be able to do in science, particularly in England, is they need to be able to work scientifically. So they need to sort of build up that inquisitiveness within them. What you'll notice as you're going through those different year groups, there is a tab on this left-hand panel for working scientifically. So you can click onto that and it gives you an example of an investigation. So how to plan an investigation, what equipment you need, how you might record it. And that's everything from which is the loudest noise to how plants grow just there. And again, you can have a look, click into your child's year group, working scientifically, and you've got those different ones there. So why you should repeat it, sort of what happens to your body when you skip, your heartbeat, you've got friction there as well. And the benefit of these Think It's is that they have the question that they pose. So if you're looking at friction and how it can affect the speed of the car, what experiment would you plan? And you can use some of the other Think It's or the Learn screen to look at planning an experiment, what you need, how to do a fair test, things like that. And within the answer, Manu gives you what he's just done. This is his plan here. But another experiment you could do to test how friction affects the speed of the car, what would that be? How could you do it slightly differently to Manu and do it in your own independent way? So those Think It's are really, really handy just there. I'm really grateful that, as I mentioned, that investigation, that inquisitiveness within that. So back on the homepage, get back on the homepage, just click that button just there. You've got where to find it, either via the search content button or via the subjects area. They both do very different things. Obviously, this search is via a keyword or phrase, and this search is sort of via the subject area, the age range, if you like, this sort of year group or P level, and right into the different resource type and what they hold within that. But one question you might want to ask yourself, how do you know which ones? Now, if your child is really chatty and you know exactly what they're doing each and every day, what units they're covering each subject area, then fantastic. You can search for those really easily and find that information. If, however, you maybe want to know a little bit more, or if your child isn't as chatty as that, what you can do is head into their classwork or homework files just here and see what they've been prescribed by their teacher. So this is something they've been asked to do in their classwork. You've got the Secret Garden English and the Secret Garden Science. So that might be a book that they're reading at the moment. So you could then ask your child, maybe get a little bit arts and crafty, design their own garden. What would they include in their garden? Or maybe if somewhere in the house there was a secret tunnel that led to a secret room, what would it look like? What would that room contain? Get a little bit sort of arty about it, a little bit sort of design, really sort of let your ideas grow on that. What you could also do is obviously find the book, read the book with your child as well, and maybe get to a certain point, ask your child what's going on, see if they can predict what happens next. So those inference skills are really, really good for students. In addition to the classwork and homework, what you also have over here is the revision. And the revision folders are based upon any assessments your child has done. So if we head into this assessment score folder just here, you can see the score that they got, the date that it was taken. Obviously this child doesn't exist, so it's quite an old one. But they can click to revise, and this is something you can go into and you can have a look at this. And if we scroll down, you can see those resources that are being prescribed by the system based upon the answers that your child got incorrect or missed out. So these are what they might struggle with. And if we hover over a couple of them, you can see what unit it covers just there. So converting fractions, counting money, giving change, calculating money. So money might be an issue here. And again, this is the sort of thing you could get involved with. Empty your purse out, let your child count how much there is. If you wanted it all converted into 20p's, how many 20p's would you get? If your child's quite good with money and they just need to practice, why not ask them how much money you'd get in US dollars or euros? Give them the exchange rate and see if they can figure that out. Alternatively, if you're doing online shopping, for example, you could say to your child, okay, you've got £3 to spend on treats this week. But if you go over that £3 in the shopping, you don't get anything. And it will really make them focus, but it'll make them a little bit more enjoyable with that bit of a reward at the end there as well. So you can look for those resources. Again, calculating money, head over to the search content tab, type in money, find some resources that might suit your child. And don't forget, there's always our Play Live games that you will find across English and maths. You'll find those just here, and they are all educational. So always nice to have like a bit of a reward. And the Play Live game in English and in maths is actually an online game as well. So nothing to stop you competing against your child for the highest score. And there we go. So where to find, search content and subjects, which resources, think it's great for investigation and inquiry. Learn screens are great for that independent learning and sort of taking control of their own learning. And don't forget those games, because they are educational, but they're also an awful lot of fun. How do you know which ones? If your child doesn't like telling you what they're learning that day, you can always check out what's going on in the classwork and homework, have a look at the revision, or use the subjects area to find something that's applicable to their year group in that subject. And there we go. Has anybody got any questions? Just while I'm looking to see if any pop up, do be aware that if your child already has a login to EducationCity and it doesn't work, you will need to contact your child's teacher. Unfortunately, as per our GDPR compliancy, we are unable to locate or give out student logins. If your child doesn't have a login yet to EducationCity, again, contact your child's teacher. And if your child's teacher doesn't know anything about it, let them know that EducationCity is offering free access to all schools up and down the UK. So tell them to get in touch. I do hope that has been helpful to you. Hopefully I'll see you at future webinars, but until then, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.